Thank you so much for joining us here this evening for Lambda Legal in Arizona. My name is Rick Davis. I am the Western Regional Director for Lambda Legal. We're so proud to bring you this program to this evening. We have so much to tell you and share. We are deeply sorry that we cannot be there with you in person tonight at our annual Lambda Legal in Arizona event. It is a wonderful time, a wonderful opportunity for our community of supporters to gather, hear about our work, and have some wonderful cocktails and food. Hopefully, you will sit back tonight, grab your own cocktails or beverage of choice and food, and follow us along for a little while as we present our program, updating you on the work that Lambda Legal is currently doing, with this particular special emphasis on your state, which we'll talk about later, as well as bringing back a fan favorite from a few years ago to report on some really good news as we update one of the cases through our plaintiff's eyes there later on. It is really important on behalf of the entire Lambda Legal family that I thank you for your support of our organization and our mission to defend and protect the rights of the LGBTQ plus community and all those affected by HIV. It is because of loyal supporters and friends such as yourself that we have been able to keep our mission going, even during this time of lockdown and COVID and pandemic. You are going to hear in a moment a little bit more about that success, but leave it not to chance for us to miss this opportunity to say thank you. We have been fortunate this evening to have a lot of support, broad support across your state and communities. I want to acknowledge the major supporters and sponsors here tonight who've made our fundraising efforts and by extension our ability to do cases, hire attorneys, pursue leads, handle the 5,000 plus help desk calls that come in every year. That's what the fundraising represents, and it is with the support of major donors and people such as yourself who have, everyone has chipped in to make this possible. And for that, we are grateful. Specifically for the sponsors for tonight, we want to thank Bill Harden and Chase Haslam, Larry Trachtenberg and Peter Larson, Crowell Morney, LLP, Engelman Berger, PC, Louis Roca, Rothen Gerber, Christie, Osborne Maladon, Mike Gorman and Jim Fay, Beth Meyerson and Jill Germain, Squire Patton Boggs, Linda Elliott and Carolyn Lane, Michael Tucker and Gregory Sale. And finally, we want to thank Alaska Airlines, who, in addition to providing the round trip tickets that we will be talking about later, and we encourage you to register using the link in the chat box to participate, has been a generous financial sponsor to this event, as well as a national sponsor of Lambda Legal. If you're not yet in this donation boat, and hopefully you saw the names of everyone, which would be too much to read here right now on the slides earlier or the slides that will run at the end of the program, we hope you'll take this opportunity to join us by clicking on the donate button, which you'll find again in the chat box, and the link will take you to a secure page where you'll be able to make your contribution and help support the continuation of the work that you saw in the strip that just ran, as well as what you're going to hear about from both our attorney and plaintiff later today. I would like to start this evening out though by recognizing a member, distinguished member of our leadership team, our Arizona Leadership Committee, who, along with his compatriots there, have really made this evening possible with in helping us program, as well as do the hard work of fundraising. And for that, it is my pleasure to introduce Justin Kingsolver.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. And good evening to everyone on behalf of the host committee and on behalf of Lambda. As Rick mentioned, my name is Justin Kingsolver. I am a commercial litigator at the law firm of Kroll & Mooring. I actually started my career not in Arizona. I spent my first 4.5 years out in DC before moving here to Arizona about 2.5 years ago. Been working with Lambda since probably about 2015 when I first started as co-counsel on a couple of cases involving transgender plaintiffs. One was a high school student who's a 14-year-old freshman student whose school had misgendered them. Horrible case that ended in a very positive pre-litigation settlement. And then a transgender prisoner who was suing on behalf of suing to rectify some constitutional claims against the government of Puerto Rico. And since my time, as co-counsel, I've now, in the last few years, taken on more of a fundraising volunteer support effort with Lambda. First out in DC, and now here in Arizona. Out in DC, we started the Young Leadership Council, Lambda's first, I believe their first or second Young Leadership Council outside of New York. And hopefully, with all of your support, we can get something like that going here in Arizona on the ground sometime in the near future. But tonight, it is my role and my privilege to thank the folks who've made a lot of our financial success tonight possible. And I can believe I have permission to report that we have exceeded our financial target, which was already quite ambitious, by more than $50,000 tonight. And the fundraising has still continued to come in throughout the day. And a lot of the thanks belongs to, of course, our donors, but the host committee also, who helped connect those donors with Lambda Legal. So please allow me to thank Dan Barr, Haiti Bayer, Stephen Berger, Corey Braddock, Sal Bretz, Laura Brooks, Juliette Burgess, Stephen Clark, Bryce Cook, Nate Coons, Nani Shivers, Francis Schoberg, Mike Sparaco, Alexis Terraquez, and then my special thanks to my co-chair, Linda Elliott, as well as our co-chairs and national board members, Beth Meyerson and Bill Harden. So there's a lot of thanks to go around tonight, but most of all, thanks to you all for attending tonight, and we are looking forward to seeing you again in person, hopefully at the next one of these events.
Thank you so much, Justin, and thanks to the entire Arizona Leadership Committee, host committee, who really went above and beyond this year in under challenging circumstances to bring this event off, and we so appreciate it again. It is my pleasure now to turn the mic over to Kevin Jennings, who actually is our new CEO for many of you, although he has been at the job since December of 2019. Now, some of you may be aware something happened shortly after he joined, which made this job just a little bit more challenging. But Kevin has stepped up to guide this organization, and we are so pleased and proud to have him and welcome him to offer remarks tonight. Kevin.
Good evening, Arizona. My name is Kevin Jennings, and I'm the CEO of Lambda Legal. And on behalf of everyone on the Lambda Legal team, let me express our incredible gratitude to you for your support. To our board members, Beth Meyerson and Bill Harden, and all the members of our Arizona Leadership Committee for making this event so successful and going over goal, which is an amazing accomplishment since we are all still on video. I wish I could be there with you physically, and I hope to be within a few months. But in the meantime, I want to give you a little update on what Lambda Legal is doing. Like me, I bet many of you were disturbed a few weeks ago when the Supreme Court allowed the new Texas abortion law, which essentially bans abortion in that state, to stand. But I have to tell you, this is the end of the beginning, not the beginning of the end of the fight. Lambda Legal was founded in 1973, the very same year Roe versus Wade was decided. And we have traditionally used the right to privacy enshrined in Roe versus Wade as a key legal doctrine in arguing that just as women have a right to control their own bodies, LGBTQ people have a right to control their own bodies. That right is now under attack, and this is not an accident. This is part of a plan. During the Trump administration, 1/3 of the Supreme Court, and in fact 1/3 of the entire federal judiciary, was filled with extremist appointees by Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. And the result is we are facing, in many settings, a profoundly hostile judiciary, hostile to the rights of LGBTQ people, of people living with HIV, of women, of people of color, of people with disabilities, and virtually anyone else who has been wronged by the American system. That didn't happen by accident. That happened because our opponents had a plan, which they executed patiently over several years. And I've got news for them. So do we. Last year, Lambda Legal spent several months working with Bain Consulting to develop a long-term strategic plan for our organization. And it can be summed up, all the work we did, in one sentence. Lambda Legal will win new protections for the most vulnerable in our community while defending our community from attacks. What that means is that people who are still suffering within the LGBTQ community, people with HIV, LGBTQ youth, LGBTQ seniors, trans people, people who are disproportionately mistreated within the justice system, like LGBTQ people of color, LGBTQ immigrants, all of these folks are folks who have not yet been given the promise of equality under our legal system. And Lambda Legal is going to fight until every single member of the LGBT community and every person living with HIV has the full and complete legal protections to which they are entitled. Secondly, we're going to defend our community from the attacks that we know are coming. Under the leadership of Senior Attorney Jenny Pizer in our Western Regional Office in Los Angeles, we're standing up a new project which is specifically dedicated to combating the attacks that we know will be forthcoming from our opponents on the right. And these attacks both will come through the courts and they will come at the state level. This year, over 300 anti-LGBT bills were introduced in state legislatures. Many of them attempts to restrict the rights of trans people, denying in particular young people the right to get the medical care they need, as well as to play in school sports. We are preparing and are already in court across the country challenging these unconstitutional laws. And in fact, in West Virginia, where we're representing an 11-year-old, Becky Pepper Jackson, who simply wanted to join her school's cross-country team, but was denied the chance to do so by the new law passed by the West Virginia legislature earlier this year that bans trans young people from participating in school sports. That's all Becky wanted. She's 11. She wanted to be on the cross-country team. We went to court on behalf of Becky last month, and we won round one. And we will fight all the way to the Supreme Court if we have to make sure that children like Becky get the rights they deserve and can simply play on their school teams. Now, you may be feeling at this point, after my somewhat dire predictions, oh my God, what are we going to do? But I want to take you back 48 years to Lambda Legal's founding. In 1973, our founders had a vision. They created an organization that was, in fact, denied charitable status by the state of New York because, as the state put it, we had no legitimate reason to exist. The fact is, Lambda Legal's had to fight since its first days of existence for its very right to be here. And when we were founded in 1973, 45 states criminalized same-sex relationships. Forget marriage equality. It was a crime in 45 states, including New York, where we were founded, for two people of the same sex to be in a relationship. We fought and we fought and we fought. And in 2003, 30 years later, we got that set of laws, colloquially known as sodomy laws, overturned by the Supreme Court in Lawrence versus Texas. We're approaching our 50th anniversary in 2023, and we have a new vision and a new dream. And that's that 50 years from now, every LGBTQ person in every city, in every state, in every corner of America can walk down the street and be safe. We have a vision that 50 years from now, the entire concept of coming out has disappeared because young people have felt free to be whatever sexual orientation or gender identity they are from the very first day of their lives. We have a vision, and that's that HIV is no more. You may think we're a little crazy, but the founders of Lambda were a little crazy too in 1973, in which they envisioned a world in which same-sex relationships were legal and sanctified by the state, a right that Lambda Legal helped win in Obergefell versus Hodges in 2015. And we're dreaming big for the next 50 years. And we're going to fight until all of those dreams come true. So I thank you for standing with us in this fight. I hope you will stay with us for the next decades to come. Remember, if Amy Coney Barrett serves to the same age as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's still going to be on the court in 2059. Lambda Legal is going to need to be here for decades. And with your support, we will, and we will fight, and we will win. Good evening.
Thanks to Kevin so much for bringing that message of hope and perseverance to us. And it is truly my pleasure now to welcome one of our newest colleagues to talk to you about the current work of Lambda Legal and his efforts and story at Lambda Legal Love Story. But what makes this particularly special is as head of the Western region, I am now able to introduce our first attorney based in the great state of Arizona, who is there on the ground with you and working by your side and as a part of your community there. And we know great things are going to be done. His name is Kell Olson and has a wonderful story to tell. And hopefully, Kell, I will give the apologies at the beginning because Kell has two twin 9-year-olds, which he may be wrangling during this. So please be gentle. And with that, my dear newest colleague, Kell Olson, take it away. Tell us what you're up to.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you all for joining us. It's so exciting for me to talk to you in Arizona, from Arizona, and I only hope that next time we can be in 3 dimensions together. I have lived in Arizona for nearly 20 years, moving here just a couple years after I finished college. And although my work at Lambda Legal now spans the region and the country, I am especially proud of the work Lambda Legal has done and continues to do in Arizona. So although I'm new to the staff of Lambda Legal, I am not new to Lambda Legal's work in Arizona. I've been watching Lambda Legal since around 2005 when I was working with LGBT youth at Wingspan in Southern Arizona. And we had a young person, a high school student, whose gay-straight alliance was not being respected and allowed to exist on campus. And together we found Lambda Legal and referred him there for help. And that was the first time I really realized there were lawyers out there doing this work full time. And that is what inspired me to look at law school and to head in that direction. So Lambda Legal really set me on this path. When I interned with Lambda Legal during law school in 2009, I again got to work on Arizona issues, and in particular got to work on the case of an Arizona mother who was fighting for the right to continue her relationship with her child, a relationship that had no legal recognition at the time because she was the non-biological parent, and it was before we had marriage equality in the state. Seeing the work of the Lambda legal team up front, I was amazed at the quality of the work. The level of expertise in this organization really matches the level of passion that you see. And so I spent the next 10 years after law school gaining the experience I would need to join this team. I became a monthly donor during that time, knowing the people I had watched working at Lambda Legal were ones that I trusted completely to carry us forward in this work and to meet all the challenges that are being thrown at us. And I continue to be a monthly donor as a staff member. Since coming on board just a few months ago in June, I've been amazed at the scope of work happening in this organization. You all know about the critical litigation being fought across the country and beyond. And as someone who tried to cram for an interview by getting on the website and catching up on all of the cases, you will find if you try that it's a very daunting task indeed. But we're winning against employers that discriminate against LGBT employees and exclude them from health coverage. We're supporting students that want to go to school, play on sports teams, and just be kids. We're strengthening access to fair courts, winning a case about striking jurors based on only sexual orientation. We're fighting against religious exemptions that are undermining our non-discrimination laws. But there's more than that going on. On the policy front, we're tracking state legislatures, and we all know that this next January, we're going to be in for another round of fights in Arizona on that front, working on passage of the Equality Act and more. We're taking meetings with the White House and with the Department of Justice because they look to us as experts on these issues. We're training judges. We're working with service providers. I just had a meeting today with folks in Arizona that work with youth in foster care and group homes to make sure they're getting accurate medical providing. So for every one lawsuit that may arise, we're talking with tens and hundreds of people. Our help desk attorneys are constantly providing support and resources. And then already I'm following up with a number of people in Arizona who have reached out to us. I'm talking with them, hoping for their sake that they don't hit a dead end, but if they do, letting them know that we're here. So I am just so honored to be here, to be your lawyer. Thank you all for supporting the organization and the amazing work that we're going to continue doing and fighting as hard as we can. Next, I would like to introduce one of our wonderful clients, Michael Ely, who has given so much to this movement. Although it's been 7 years since marriage equality, Lambda Legal has continued to fight to make sure LGBT people enjoy the full range of critical protections that marriage offers. One of those rights is for a surviving spouse to collect Social Security based on the work history of their loved one, a right that continued to be denied to LGBT people even after their marriages were recognized, based on a requirement that the marriage had to have been in place for 9 months to qualify. Some of you have met or heard from Michael at previous events. He was with his late husband for more than 43 years. They got married as soon as it was possible in 2014, but Michael's husband passed away 6 months later. Michael was then denied benefits for not being legally married long enough. Fortunately, in May 2020, we won a total victory. We managed to certify this case as a class action so that each class member could recover the Social Security support they were owed. And I'll tell you that to this day, we continue to receive calls on the help desk from people who are learning about this case and then able to collect the benefits. So the benefits are ongoing. So thank you, Michael, for all of the work you've done. And thank you for joining us today to share a little bit more of your story.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Right out the gate, I want to thank everyone at Lambda Legal. You guys have been so supportive and so kind to me. And I mean, everyone at Lambda Legal is so bright and compassionate and so dedicated to helping people in our community. And I also want to thank everyone who supports Lambda Legal, because that's important too. So just briefly, my story, I hope it's brief. I met my late husband, James, AKA Spider, in October of 1971. I was 18 and he was 20. And in December of 1971, we started living together. And it was a little bit rough in the early 70s. We did encounter a lot of pretty blatant homophobia. But that didn't stop us from creating a wonderful life together with wonderful friends. We both loved music. We wrote songs together. We played in bands and had a really good life. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, we did lose a lot of our close friends to AIDS, including my best friend. And that took a toll on us. And that's when we decided to move to Tucson to just kind of start over and start a new phase of our life. And again, for the next 20 years or so, we had a very happy life full of friends, and we traveled all over Arizona. It's a beautiful state. Then in November of 2013, right when Spider was thinking about retiring and we were planning our golden years, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with advanced liver cancer. But he was a fighter, and for the next year and a half, he put up a really strong fight. He went through a lot. You know, cancer can be very insidious, and as well as the treatments. But he never said, why me? He never complained. And he just always said to me, I'm going to beat this, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm never going to leave you. And I think I just at that time felt so helpless and afraid that I was in denial. And so I believed him. So in 2014, we were able to get married, and that was wonderful. And then in 2015, the cancer started getting the best of him, and he started going downhill rapidly. And one day he got up and he said, I want to go down to the Social Security office. And I said, okay, why? And he said, because we're married, and after I'm gone, I want you to be able to collect my Social Security. And that was the first time that he acknowledged to me what we both knew, that he wasn't going to be around much longer. So we went down to the Social Security, and they told us, hey, you're married. Michael can collect your Social Security benefits. However, you do need to be married for 9 months. At which point Spider said, you know, I don't think I can live that long. And they said, we're so sorry, but that it's a federal law and there's really not a lot we can do. So on the way home, that's when he told me, I want you to promise that after I'm gone, you will find a lawyer and you will fight this. The following month, one evening, we were right after dinner, he said, you know, I'm a little tired. I'm going to go lay down, and I'll get up in an hour, we'll watch a movie and cuddle on the couch. And I was like, hey, that sounds good. And he said, give me a hug. And I stood up to hug him, and I started to pull away, and he said, keep hugging me. And so we stood there and hugged for a really long time. And what I didn't realize is that would be our last hug, because by the morning he was gone. So I did indeed find a lawyer here in Tucson, Brian Clymer, and he took my case. And he and everyone, Laura and Autumn and everyone in his office was so supportive. They got the ball rolling. And then at some point they reached out to Lambda, and that's when Lambda stepped in. And we ended up winning. The case did get put on appeal, but fingers crossed, things are gonna work out. So that's my story. I just, again, want to thank everybody at Lambda Legal from the bottom of my heart. It means so much. And again, thank everyone who supports Lambda Legal.
Michael, on behalf of Lambda Legal and everyone watching tonight or watching in the days to come on the recording, thank you. You honor us by your bravery and stepping forward to go through everything that plaintiffs need to go through to represent not only their own case, but the case of people similarly situated, not only where you live, but across this country who are in the exact same situation. And as Kell said, your bravery and your work has brought about true life-saving abilities for people to continue their lives with dignity, with financial resources that they and their former partners paid into the system as citizens of this country, and now are having to fight to get that money back so that they can continue their lives. And you are the one we need to thank for your bravery in putting a face on that particular movement. And that's why Kell and Jenny Pizer and Peter Wren and all our attorneys and all our staff get up every morning to make this world a little better for our LGBTQ and HIV affected communities. And we do it with a number of supports, and our plaintiffs, as demonstrated by your sincerity and talks here tonight, really make that possible. And we are so grateful. We are so grateful. And we are looking forward to celebrating your ultimate victory, but fingers crossed, as we know it's going in a great direction. Thank you to the new administration. But we have not dotted the I's or crossed the T's yet, so continue crossing your fingers on that. But it's good. It's a good news report. It's a good news report from when you stood in that backyard 2 years ago and addressed this group. And we hope to have you back in future years to give us updates on all the wonderful things in your life. And we so value and love you as a supporter as well. As you know, I mean, even in the virtual environment, the passion and the work still continues. We wish we were together. We're not always able to be together right now. We hope next year to be together so that we can commune with one another and hear these wonderful stories and reports. But in the meantime, if you can't be with the one you love Zoom. And we're here to do that. And Zoom is loving us back tonight, and we appreciate that. We've got more wonderful programming coming up. This is what we call one of our lead-in events for One Lambda Legal, which is going to be our virtual celebration of all our events across this country that would normally take place in person. And there's some 87 events that Lambda Legal would put on in person in a regular year. This being one of our crown jewels. But others as well. And we've gathered all those events into a week-long celebration of Lambda Legal and the work that we have to do. And I'm going to give you a little teaser on that, which is coming up the week of October 4th in 2 weeks. And it is going to be a virtual assortment of fun and education and learnings and community. And as you're bombarded with emails and social media and texts about it coming up over the next couple of weeks, we hope you'll find things that are of interest to you and that you will hook in and join us for more wonderful reports and stories and fun and community. And roll that reel.
We are not just here. We are here to stay.
We have have some other special viewers that are joining us by Zoom.
It's Conrad Ricamora.
This is Andrew Reynolds.
I'm Bette Midler.
Thank you to Lambda Legal for all the work that you have done.
I so deeply appreciate the work that Lambda Legal does.
I'm really delighted to accept this award from Lambda Legal. It's quite an honor.
Donate to something that gives back to all of us.
Your support is why we have the resources necessary to do this work.
Lambda Legal is here for all of you, no matter what.
Lambda Legal is out here fighting for and defending the rights of the LGBTQ community.
So excited to do it, and we could not have won this case without Lambda Legal, so thank you so much.
So we hope that you have been motivated tonight by what you've seen, and that you will join us in 2 weeks to participate in One Lambda Legal Week. As stated, onelambdalegal.com is our page, and it's going to be filled with information and programming announcements over the next coming weeks. We hope you'll get involved and continue to support and join us as we go through that week and into the future. It's your support that makes what we do possible, and we are so grateful for that. If you have not had the opportunity yet, please take a moment and make a donation using the link that's in the chat, or just go to our website or the onelambdalegal.org page, which will give you an opportunity to give. We'll take your money however it comes. Because we need it and we love it and we appreciate you for giving it. So we never take that for granted. So please chip in if you haven't had a chance. We would really, truly appreciate it. I also am going to give one more plug to our national sponsor, Alaska Airlines, thanking them for sponsoring this evening. And for being a sponsor of this evening. I'm not going to read you that list again, don't worry. Thanking them for being a sponsor, and also providing the 2 round-trip tickets to wherever they fly, both domestically and internationally. But to do that, you need to actually be registered for this program. So there is a link in the chat, and we hope that you will, if you have not had an opportunity to, you will go to that and you will register. If you are watching this in replay, you can still go to the chat and register, or you can register at the One Lambda Legal page to be considered for the drawing. That drawing is going to take place within the next week, and the winner will be notified. But quite frankly, in our books, all of you are winners. We can't put you all on a plane, but we'd love to. And but thank you again. I know, thank you, Beth, for the sweet comments in the chat, but it's not Rick Davis' show doing it all by himself. I have some amazing colleagues who have helped out here tonight. Led by 2 wonderful folks here in the Western region. Abel Martinez, who is an events manager who helps run all of this and who has helped steer the ship and get everything on track and going. And our former major gifts officer, I hate to say that, Michael McKee, who many of you know, who has guided the ship for this community in Arizona and has worked with many of you on your fundraising and contributions to the organization. Michael is not going far, and we will continue to have his services as a corporate relations manager, so helping to bring more Alaska Airlines into our field and get corporations to put their money where their mouths are. And not just wave the pride flag in June and then forget about us the rest of the year, but actually get them in here supporting us in what we know is important for our community to move forward. And we so appreciate and wish him well in that role. Other colleagues that are assisting tonight, Leanne Pivotal, who is running this whole show, who is fantastic and we love who has hit every cue and made me look pretty good tonight. So I'm loving her right now, as well as Eric Wilson, who's our regional program coordinator. So thanks to my colleagues, as well as Kell, who's going to continue doing wonderful things. We've got a strong team here in the West, and we continue to look forward to working with and for you to advance our community. Thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. It really means a lot to us, and we wish you all a blessed and wonderful evening, and go forth and continue doing what you do, because we all need to be a part of this fight however we can. Thank you and good night.